What just happened was what made me stop playing this game when I was 12 years old. As I mentioned in the last video, I had rented Resident Evil Director's Cut and Resident Evil 2 after getting Code Veronica for the Dreamcast, but running through that hallway scared the bejesus out of me, and it was at least a couple of weeks before I decided to play any Resident Evil. Sure, I wanted to play them. I wanted to know what happened in the mansion and in Raccoon City and at Rockford Island, but after this, and this, and this, it was just too hard for me being that young and not having any experience with horror in any capacity, really. And I know nowadays it doesn't really seem like much, but back then, these archaic jump scares could really get you good. Before we get on with how the playthrough went, hi, I'm the Krohster, and welcome to my challenge. This is the PS1 Quest of the West. I'm aiming to beat every PlayStation game that came out in North America, so if that kind of thing interests you, consider subscribing and joining me on my journey. With a game like this, I try not to do a play-by-play of everything that the game has to offer, just in case you guys want to go out and experience it for yourself. Let me know in the comments if you guys like this approach, or if you would like to see future playthroughs in more detail. Alright, let's get on with it. In the opening cutscene, we get a brief overview of the story so far, talking about the mansion incident and Umbrella being naughty. Resident Evil 2 came on 2 discs, and each disc is essentially your character select, and we'll get to that in a bit. We're choosing to play as Claire first, and so the opening FMV follows her riding into town and getting off of her bike. We flash to another scene that seems irrelevant at first, of a trucker that's injured from someone biting him. Back to Claire, we see her wandering into a diner, discovering a nightmare scenario, eventually being saved by Leon. They hop into a car and they take off. We get a few little tidbits of why they are where they are as they are driving before seeing that big old diesel again, which you can probably come to the conclusion is being driven by the injured trucker. The pair are attacked inside the car by a zombie hiding out in the back seat, and they eventually crash into a pole, throwing the undead through the windshield. I'm just kinda now realizing Leon is just not good at driving anything in these games. After a quick sigh of relief, the big old honkin' truck from earlier comes barreling through the streets due to the driver now being a zombie. Our protagonists flee the vehicle, but are separated by the crash, and here's where we start the game. We make our way through the beginning as I stupidly keep on hitting the start button to try and open the menu jumping off of Resident Evil 1. When I was a beginner at tank controls playing this game for the first time, I had a really hard time getting through the beginning. Nowadays it's fairly easy to get through unscathed, but of course I take a little bit of damage. Overall though, even on the normal difficulty setting, RE2 is arguably an easier game than the first. While there are quite a few more enemies, ammo pickups are a lot more common, and the characters can take significantly more bites before dropping into caution. We make our way to get our first key item. I smile remembering my first time playing the game and this dreaded hallway. And so far it's shaping up to be a pretty straightforward playthrough. We run into Leon, collect some key items, put out a fire. Oh, that's a helicopter. How did that get there? But yeah, it's pretty much just your run-of-the-mill playthrough. The controls feel a whole lot better, and it's nice to have auto-aim considering the US Resident Evil release disabled it. Yeah, for American releases they would intentionally bump up the difficulty in some games for the rental stores. It was a 90s thing. But even in this game, you have to enable it. We have a chat with Chief Irons, officially meet Sherry, do some more things, and now we reach this room that has a side pack which upgrades your inventory from 8 to 10 and a submachine gun. And this is where I'm going to talk about the infamous zapping system. I don't know if this point gets brought up enough, but it's slightly overrated. So throughout your playthrough, there are a few things that you can do and choices that you can make to affect your B scenario. I'm not going to go over all of them, but for instance, I just took the side pack as Claire, so in my playthrough as Leon, the side pack will be gone. If I took both items, I would leave Leon with nothing, and if I didn't take anything, Leon would have access to both of them. Another good example is finding some wires to connect a mechanism to block off a zombie encounter later on, which I didn't do. There are a few other instances, and it's a neat little gimmick, but for the most part, that's pretty much what it is. A gimmick. And I do say that in the most loving way possible. As I'm running through the underground parking and other areas, I'm constantly reminded of all the times me and some of my online friends play Resident Evil Outbreak. Fuck my ass! Oh, what the F? Oh, I can't get out of here. Oh god, okay. Oh my god. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Ah, fuck. Just when I was doing so good. What? Good times. And there will certainly be more of them to come. We collect some stuff to get more stuff to open a hidden door, fight a boss battle, collect Sherry, and head to the sewers. Everything goes pretty smoothly down here. Nothing to note really, until we get to the platform to get to the labs. If you watched my previous video, you'll know that I am notoriously forgetful when it comes to prepping for boss battles. Despite having at least a green and red herb mix, 2 double green herbs, and 2 first aid sprays, I bring none of them with me for some reason, and I'm only hyper-focused on ammo. I just barely make it out of the boss fight alive, hobbling back inside to grab Sherry. I have another close encounter while grabbing some ammo, and then it's a pretty typical stroll through the labs. I reach the final boss, and of course, this happens.
Well, if it sits up front, I mean, that's kind of a telltale sign, right? I didn't know that was gonna insta-kill me. Holy shit.
The second go-around goes much smoother, and we make our way to the
bottom platform, bottom platform, bottom platform, bottom platform, bottom platform.
So, I mentioned a B scenario earlier, and now you might be thinking,
what is it?
So each character has 2 scenarios, an A and B scenario. And much like Resident Evil 1, both characters go through a lot of the same areas and have their own individual supporting characters, but here, the story beats and how things play out are a bit different between the 2 characters, and even between their A and B scenarios. The A scenario is who you choose to play as first, and once you finish the game as that character, you'll be able to make a save file to start the B scenario for the other character. They really amped it up when it comes to replayability here, and that's just one of the many reasons why this game is lauded as one of the best in the series. We load up the Leon disc and go straight into it. Earlier I forgot to mention, because I've done it in every video so far, the FMVs. I always thought the FMVs looked kind of funky compared to the other official 3D art, and even compared to their in-game counterparts. I mean, it's not terrible, but just like I criticize Final Fantasy VII, I have to be fair and give my favorite series a jab, and also just like Final Fantasy VII, I'm gonna compare it to the Tekken series again. Tekken 3 was giving us gorgeous FMVs for the time. Of course, there was still some jank here and there, like, who thought this looked okay to be pressed onto the disc? But I remember thinking to myself way back in the day that this is so much closer to what Code Veronica was doing with the cinematography. The voice acting was a butt-ton better, too.
Here, take this key card. You should be able to unlock the doors in the hall with this.
Well, I mean at least compared to the first game.
Wow, what a mansion!
You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
The FMV shows what happens from Leon's side of things. Rolling into town, discovering a body lying in the middle of the road, getting attacked by zombies, and eventually running into Claire. The rest of the cutscene plays out just like in Claire's opening. The stroll to the police department is much shorter here on the other side, and no incidents weaving through the zombies here. We see how the helicopter ends up inside the police department. I get attacked by the usually easily avoidable crows while picking up some ammo. In the B scenario, the items and keys that you pick up are in different places. Enemy placement is also altered, and the order of progression is a little bit different, but you're mostly going through the same areas. One of the biggest differences between the A and B scenario is Mr. X. He generally is not really that big of a threat. He's just a big tanky guy who moves very slowly, and is just kind of in the way when he shows up. In most of the encounters with him, you can easily take him out with a fair amount of handgun rounds, and most of the times he appears, you can actually just run past him without too much of a problem. We avoid some liquors and retrieve the keycard to open the remaining doors in the lobby. I forget about an alternate jump scare in the same hallway that haunted me when I was 12. We see Sherry, run into Claire, run around everywhere collecting the key items to progress. We meet Ada, then Ben, and again, just like with A scenario, pretty smooth sailing. I help Ada into a vent so she can see what's on the other side. I get another key item to progress, and just when I think things are going fine, I unlock the morgue and didn't realize there are 2 liquors in there, which results in my first death. I don't let them make a fool out of me again and grab the key card, immediately get attacked outside of the room, grab the submachine gun, and get a little Resident Evil fun fact for the night. We go for our next item to progress, easily avoid Mr. X without getting hit this time, make it to another room for another key item, and this is where I decide to down on this time due to the tight corridor.
Oh. He's such a pushover.
Ben is attacked, we beat a boss, somehow convince Ada to follow us this time. Shortly after, Leon gets shot, some story stuff happens. Ada does the worst job of patching Leon up, and we're out of the sewers and onto the lab. Ada is wounded along the way, and after another boss fight, we have to leave her behind for now. And then somehow we get left behind ourselves. We catch back up to the train car elevator thing, and Ada's gone now. We're doing pretty good progressing in the labs until we reach the unlockable room that requires both characters to have a fingerprint taken, and I get my ass destroyed in here. I make some stupid choices in navigating and inadvertently trigger the next cutscene where we run into Mr. X. Yeah, it didn't go well.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no. Oh no. Oh man.
He's such a pushover.
This sets me back a lot. I didn't save once after getting to the labs, so I laugh it off, collect myself, and when I get back to the room which ultimately led to my demise, I had some choice words.
That's all that's in here is machine gun bullets? Are you shitting me? Are you not even... Oh my god.
I honestly forgot that's what your lame-ass reward is for inputting your fingerprints as both characters. Thank you, zapping system. We do some stuff, grab Sherry, and get to the
Bottom platform.
We fight the final boss, then we fight the final blob, and that is Resident Evil 2, game number 4. If you're looking into playing the classics in the Resident Evil series, I would say this is a pretty good starting point. While story-wise, it is a follow-up to the original, you don't need to know all about the characters from the previous game to know what's going on in this one. Resident Evil 2, in my opinion, is a PS1 masterpiece, and improves on nearly everything that the first game has to offer. The gameplay is tighter, the weapons are more varied, the enemies come in bigger groups and are more of a threat, the story bits are expanded, and there is so much more replayability thanks to the A and B scenarios for both characters. It's obviously going in the number 1 slot for what I've played so far, and for how much I love Resident Evil 2, it's probably going to be there for quite a while.